Hey guys, video number 2. Last week we had you doing some movements with the stick. Today we're going to combine two different disciplines. Okay, one will be with the stick again and we'll come back to that. But firstly, we're going to get you to explore your ranges of movement of your shoulder blades. This is really important and is a really neglected part of being an overhead athlete. What I want you to do here is really critical. We want you to explore what range of movement you have and how much movement you can kind of find and discover over the course of several minutes. So you'll set your watch to 2 or 3 minutes and you'll start doing some shoulder blade movements. Now last week we had you doing a very deliberate sequence where we had you doing the shoulder blades together, squeezing and shrugging. Today I'm going to discourage that. I want you to start exploring your movement range, trying to do circles, trying to find unusual ways to move your shoulder blades, and you can even move one without the other. You can make it asymmetrical. Really lean your body if you need to accentuate the feeling of tightness or find those corners where you feel most restricted. I want you to move your shoulders. Bit of fun as well. It feels like you're dancing a little bit, but I want you to really explore and accentuate the sides of those movements. It's really important. A healthy shoulder should have no restriction and be able to access all of its available movement. You may well find one shoulder moves freely, the other is a little restricted in how it moves. So it's really important that you explore all of those corners of your movement and try to make those feel the same left and right. Over the course of several minutes, you can make those movements bigger as comfort allows, but really test yourself to find little corners of tightness within your profile. We're going to go back to the stick then, and we're going to get you to use the stick with one arm only this time. Okay, last week we had you doing deliberately both arms together. This week what I want you to do is to use one arm, and I want you to use the stick to drive corners of your movement, to try and find those movements where you feel tight, and use the other hand to help drive your hand higher into that range. You're going to explore all of those available corners of movement. You can lean to the side, you can really accentuate those leans, and you can really try to find those corners. So in this one, you can lean, you can pivot, you can roll, you can encourage your shoulder blade to try and get a bit more movement. You can encourage what we call overpressure in certain parts of your movement. All of these are important attributes, particularly if you're an overhead athlete, as you all are. We're going to literally get you to reach around, finding different corners of movement. And when you find one, stay there, use the stick, push up, accentuate the curve, try to really overreach. Last week was an introduction and still remains very important. Today is more of an exploratory task. You're going to really explore your available shoulder function and your corners of your movement where you're combining shoulder blade and shoulder movement together. It's a very fundamental requirement to be an overhead athlete as you are. Have a go, spend some time on this, and really try to discover any asymmetries within your profile. I'll see you next week.